every pattern that you interrupt, you retire an identity. The other day, we were talking about how when you're learning, when you're growing, when you're awakening, so is your ego. The smarter you get, the smarter your ego gets. And this can mean that your ego uses really clever language and tactics to keep you playing small. At every level, you're going to have to overcome this. So I caught myself in the middle of a massive BS the other day. So as you guys know, I've had about 20 in-person events all over the world. And then I decided to take a year off. And then I decided I wanted to do in-person events again. Except my ego, my mental plane, tricked me into thinking that that was a power move. And as much as I love doing in-person events, I mean, my ultimate desire and goal is to have a in-person university like my online school. As much as I love them, if I've already done 20 of them, that's not a power move. And the scariest thing about this is I started acting like I didn't know what I was doing, how it was going to be hard, and I was figuring things out. And then I'm like, I've done 20 of this. This is not a freaking power move. This is a lateral move. And this is what I mean when I say that the stronger you get, so does your resistance, so does your excuses. I love playing on the edge. When I'm not playing at my edge, when I'm not expanding, I start getting bored. I've noticed this with myself that if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing it like with my eyes closed, I can do it in my sleep, I can do it with my hands tied behind my back, that doesn't lead to my expansion. And so I start getting bored. Now, I admire people that can do the same thing for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I think I admire those people because I always judged myself for wanting to grow and evolve, and I thought you're supposed to stay that way. And then I realized, no, we're just different. Like driven huntresses, we thrive in expanding all the time and growing all the time. So I realize now that God makes me bored when I get really good at doing something, not because he wants me to ditch that, but he wants me to expand into the next level, the next phase, the next answer, right? Like create the next step. That's how I've been able to build this movement, this community, is because people who do the same thing for 30 years, nothing wrong with that. But when people work with them, they outgrow them and then they move on to something else. Well, I'm always growing, so it's impossible to outgrow me because I'm always going to the next level. And so I caught myself recently thinking, oh, I want to do this in-person event. You guys know I have the January event coming up. I have a one next year coming up in Dubai. I'm planning a VIP small group for November this year, a business mapping out your $1 million offer. But how I was approaching it was as if it's a power move. And the second I said, this is not a power move, I've done this before, my brain opened up and I started saying, wait, then what is the power move? How can I expand into doing something bigger and bolder and playing at the edge so that I can grow? And as a result, my clients can grow, my marriage can grow, my children can grow, my whole life can grow. And I was journaling on it earlier today using my 4 levels ahead quantum process, which I taught you guys in Millionaires. And basically how it works is I was writing down, okay, well, let's say I've already done this. And then what? What would that version of me want? Okay, well, I wrote that down. It's like, okay, well, what if I've already done that? What would that version of me want? What would be the next desire? And as I started working through that, I realized that this is why recently I've been normalizing things so quickly, because I've been tricking myself into thinking that lateral moves are power moves. So what happens with a lateral move is you convince yourself it's hard. You've already done similar things. Then you do it. And then a day later, 2 late days later, you're like, okay, well, I did it. Now what, right? Because you didn't really grow. You've already been doing that. But with an actual power move, it's like that's a wormhole. Like you are in a completely different timeline. You're in a completely different paradigm. Everything changes about you. Your biology changes. You change on a cellular level. Like you just had a near death expansive experience kind of a thing, right? Like you are completely different. The old part of you died and the new part rebirths. So it's so important to like notice these little things. It's so funny because I'm like, this is perfect self-sabotage. I stop doing the in-person events, then show up like, yay, I'm making a power move. But it's like, no, bitch, you've already been doing that. That's not a power move. And so now noticing that and seeing that, I'm like, okay, I see you. Now, the biggest way to actually make a power move is two things: pattern interrupt and being in a new environment. And you can combine those. So I love the environment that I've created. My home, my neighborhood, my community, my family, my friends. Like, I love everything. I've created it on purpose. And it's also true that everyone around me loves comfort. I love them for it. They love sukoon, they love comfort, they love being content with what they have. And that's so good for them. But the truth is, can you see that someone like me that's driven would fall into this pattern of making small lateral moves and calling it power moves? Because in accordance to what I'm living, those do look like power moves. So what I immediately did is I have been putting this off, but there's like a lot of in-person events that I've been wanting to go to, both in Houston and also like other places. And I decided that this is the year that I'm doing it. And I booked a whole bunch of things, putting myself in different rooms to jolt myself out of thinking these lateral moves are power moves. So I interrupted the pattern of being in the same environment and putting myself in rooms. So there is this event happening here in Houston on Friday, where it's someone really big that does events like globally, and she's having an event here. And so her ad showed up in my feed and I immediately bought it. And then I said, okay, well, let me go on Instagram and see if I'm following her. I go on Instagram to discover she's following me already. So that's a power move. Being in the room, who am I going to meet there? Like, one contact, one idea, one paradigm shift is like such a huge pattern interrupt. And for me, just getting out of the house is like a pattern interrupt. I am such a homebody. I'm very introverted. And sometimes I need to do something like that to jolt myself out of just being in the same energy. I do believe that there's different codes in different environments for us, and meeting new and different people that are doing different things can really activate us on a whole new level and give us ideas. And just like one person with one new idea, one paradigm shift can unlock so much creativity. I'm like that with everything. I can watch a movie. I'll be watching a movie with my family and I'll be like, oh my God, that can be a course. Oh my God, that needs to be a book. Oh my God, I could turn that. Like, I'm just always having those creative breakthroughs. And so when I really pattern interrupt that and go and do things that I wouldn't normally do, it compounds really, really fast. So I want you to start thinking, are you making lateral moves and like tricking yourself into thinking that that's a power move? Like, how funny that every single power move that I thought I'm making in the next few weeks, I'm like, girl, that is not a power move for you. It might be for someone else, but you've already been doing that for like 8 years. And so now I'm being kind of forced to think beyond, right? I'm at the edge of my brain right now, and I need like to think beyond. And so when I'm journaling on this, right, sometimes the ideas don't come right away. But just the process of saying it's something I can't quite put my finger on yet. I can't quite touch it yet. That in itself can be such a huge paradigm shift or pattern interrupt. So I'm inviting you, put in the chat or in the comments, are you still doing that? Are you still making lateral moves and calling them power moves? And girl, I've got a couple of offers for you. So this Thursday, we start in voltage and visibility. So this was called my Feminine Energy Master Coaching, but that course wanted to have a name change. She wanted her Sasha Fierce moment. She's like, bitch, don't call me that. You've named other things like that. And so she decided that that container was going to be voltage and visibility. So this is feminine sales, branding, and the things I'm teaching in here, yes, we're learning them from the sense of business and money, but it can 110% be applied to your marriage, your dating, and I'm going to be teaching you how to apply it to different areas. And there, you're going to be with me and the girls in Kainat for 12 weeks, and you can put 4,444 of your investment towards Kainat if you decide to continue during those 12 weeks with us. The other thing is my Addicted to Abundance in-person event is right now currently open, and on September 30th, the early bird for both tiers will disappear. Kainat students have a backstage VIP pass included, but other than that, there's general admission and there is a VIP admission that you can purchase. So that is also going to be linked in the description box. I haven't opened the cart up for Dubai yet. That's happening in April. We just have the contract with the venue we're signing. As soon as that's done, there's only going to be 40 spots for the Dubai intensive. But the Addicted to Abundance in Houston is going to be a little bit bigger. Other than that, in November, I'm opening up 12 to 13 spots for a small VIP 2 to 3 day group here in Houston, where I'm going to be building out a $1 million offer with you. And so it's going to be small group. I am going to give Kainat queens first dibs on those spots, and as soon as I launch it with them first, and after that my email list will be informed secondly. So if you're not on my email list, girl, what are you waiting for? Get on the list. I'll link all 3 of these things in the description box, and let me know what actual power moves that are going to completely paradigm shift you, turn you into a different person on like a biochemical level, like completely change you. What is that power move? And have you been lying to yourself? Put it in the chat and I'll see you tomorrow.